Okay, I didn't want to wait for that whole counter to go down. So, hello, friends, and welcome to a live stream. Look at this, a live stream right here on the AWS Developers YouTube channel. This is amazing. Okay, I'm just gonna double check. It's all good, all good. We should be live. There you go. My face is on YouTube. Love it, love it, love it. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. My name is Darko, and I am what they call these days a developer advocate. I get to talk to you, developers, folks out there who build stuff all about AWS, the cloud, communities, generative AI, coding assistants, developer experience, and absolutely everything in between. Today is a special kind of a off-the-cuff live stream, I guess. It's nothing too prepared. I want to do some fun shenanigans today. I want to go ahead and I want to use, well, first of all, let me explain what's a rubber duck. Below my face here, it says, can my rubber ducky solve coding challenges? A rubber ducky in the terms of software development is, there's a thing called the rubber ducky debugging is when you as a developer, as an engineer, get stuck into a problem and you're like, okay, how to solve this? This doesn't work for me. What you do is you explain the problem to a rubber duck or any inanimate object on your desk. And you say, well, here's how my thing works. Here's how it doesn't work. Here's the, and then through the whole sheer of discussing or actually yelling at your rubber ducky, you've come to an enlightenment. Oh, that is the problem. Now, what if the ducky could speak back? What if the rubber ducky could tell you, hey, I think this is actually your problem? So that's kind of what we're going to try to do today. My rubber ducky is this. That is the rubber ducky. Actually, you know what? Let me brand the rubber ducky in a second. That is the rubber ducky. Amazon Q Developer. Amazon Q Developer is going to help me do some coding challenges. That is the plan today. So for the next 45-ish minutes, we're going to be doing some fun little shenanigans with that rubber ducky and with some coding. So sit back, relax. By the way, I can see the chat, so feel free to say hello in the chat. I'm going to drop in a little heart like that, boom, like that, boom. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Tell me where you're joining us from. Tell me, have you been using the rubber ducky method to debug? And have you been using coding assistants to debug and build stuff? Because Amazon Q, the thing you see there, the thing that says on it, Amazon Q Developer is your wonderful coding assistant. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show this to you. Boom. Okay. So Amazon Q Developer is a coding assistant existing within your text editor, your IDE. So you can come here and ask it questions about software development. Not only can it do that, it can also help you build out features, set up documentation. Like we do slash here, like look at that. Bunch of different things you can do with its agentic capabilities, but also it's just a wonderful little chat platform for you to ask software development questions. So we're going to be using Amazon Q Developer today. And we're going to go out and try to solve an old version of the advent of code. If you do not know what the advent of code is, advent of code is just a set of 25 coding challenges for the month of December. Every year they come up with a bunch of different challenges, and like they're kind of coding / math / logic challenges. So we're gonna see how many of these can we do in the next 45 minutes with the help of the rubber duck, Amazon Q Developer. So that's the plan for today. So I took an older year 2020. I didn't want to go with the latest one just because I'm sure there are some people who still want to go ahead and try to do it on their own. I highly encourage you folks to go and check stuff like Advent of Code out. It's an excellent exercise for people to be able to build stuff and do stuff, kind of flex your skills. But today I'm going to also flex the skills of Amazon Q Developer, and I'm also hopefully going to learn something along the way. So the way this is going to work is that I have a little directory here with nothing in there. There's a virtual environment for Python because we're going to be doing it in Python because while Python, we can discuss is it the best language in the world or not. I think it's a very obvious language of what it is doing. So for clarity purposes, we're going to be sticking to Python. So, and also gives me the ability to not have to go into the weeds of setting a lot of complicated things up like in some other languages. Okay, so let's kick it off. I'm going to create a file here called touch. You don't see it. You don't see it because of my face. Can you see? I need to set up this thing. One moment, please. That's not the one. 1 second. I need to duplicate this. 1 second. Boom. Just desktop. We're doing stuff. There we go. Okay. Touch 01 task py. Okay. So we're gonna be working with this empty file here, right? Okay. So let's try this out. So the first challenge, number 1. I'm gonna go kind of through the challenges. Like there's a whole story behind every challenge, so it's really cool, interesting, and fun, right? But basically, you get 1 star per solving a challenge, right? There's a whole kind of a backstory and a little lore to it. I would leave you to actually go and explore this. We're gonna go ahead and solve the problems. Okay. Before you leave, the elves in accounting just need you to fix an expense report, your puzzle input. Apparently, something isn't quite adding up. Specifically, they need you to. Oh crap! I saw this one. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I'll show you how this works. I solved it yesterday just to test it out, but it's obviously solved. So before you leave, something isn't quite adding up. Specifically, they need you to find 2 entries that sum up to 2020 and then multiply those 2 numbers together. For example, here are the list of numbers. In this list, 2 entries sum up to 2020 are 1721 and 299. Multiplying these 2 numbers produce this big old number. Okay, so you have... can I reset my passport? I cannot even reset this thing. Okay, we're gonna have to skip this one because I solved it yesterday. So let's try a different one. Okay, puzzle input. The elves in accounting are thankful for your help. One of them offers you a starfish coin. Perfect. They offer you a second one if you find 3 numbers in your expense report that meet the same criteria. Okay, so using the above example, the 3 entries that sum up to 2020, and making this one. Okay, so excellent. This is great. So we're going to take this file. I'm going to copy this file, and I'm going to wget it here into a file called input. Oh, I can't. I can just do this. Okay, so let's create a file here called like that. Save it as 01 input.txt. Wabam. Awesome. And then we're going to go back here. So I'm going to use, this one. You need to find 2 entries that sum up to 2020. For example, okay, I think I can just take this, and I can drop it into Amazon Q Developer. So okay, help me solve a coding challenge. Let's see. Let's see if it's gonna actually do it. Okay, so it doesn't like kind of getting it confused like that. So what we're gonna actually do here is something else. To find 2 entries, okay, so let's start again. I have a coding challenge. I need to find the 2 entries to sum up to 2020 in a list of numbers. And we'll pull this. Okay, boom, awesome. Let's see. Generating my answer. It's a classic problem. Look at that. You know it's a classic problem. I wonder if Q Developer knows that this is an actual challenge. Shenanigans. Okay. So we have a function here that says find some product, okay, and solve from a file. Okay, so it actually knows that there's a file here called input1.txt. So it's probably going to be assuming that I'm going to try to read it from a file. Okay, so I'm going to ask it, let's copy this thing here like that. This top, save. So we're gonna have a look at here what the function does in a second. Give me a main function that calls this. I want to make this a nice little unified experience. There we go. Copy. What did I do here? Yes. Okay. Nice. So okay, let's see what it does. So find entries in some product, right? Target sum is 2020. That's always going to be that thing. It's the default is 2020. For number in numbers, complement, awesome. Solve from file is going to open up the file, perfect. And then a main file is basically going to read something from an argument, or it's going to ask for this thing. Perfect, excellent. So I'm going to ask it to explain to me slightly how does this work. So give me the summary on how this solution works. What are its main components? Also, huge fan of it actually using Markdown to actually respond to you. So that's good. The core algorithm, the find sum entries, uses the complement approach with ON time complexity. So it's an ON complex problem. Maintains a set of previously seen numbers for each number. Checks if it is complement target sum plus minus number exists in set. Nice. File processing just reads a file. Converts each line to an integer. Okay. Calls the core algorithm with the okay. Awesome. Efficiency. ON complexity instead of ON squared, making it much faster for larger inputs. Memory usage. Perfect. It's actually came up with a much more optimized solution than general. Okay, nice. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and open up my terminal here, and I'm gonna do source. Let me zoom in. Source venv bin activate. Okay, and then I'm gonna do Python o1 task, and then the file is gonna be o1 input, right? There we go. Okay, awesome. The product of the two entries that sum up to 2020 is 436404. Now, I believe that is the correct answer. 436404. Awesome. Solving the example, I can just do the following. I can do something here, /dev. Now, this dev feature basically tells it to go ahead and change the code for you. So my little rubber ducky here is going to go ahead and say, now make the change so it takes, what is the actual verbiage here? Using the above example, 3 entries. So it takes 3 entries that sum up to 2020 and give us their multiple. They're multiple. Multiply and give us the result of multiplying all of them together. So this feature, what's happening right now, it is actually going out ahead and taking all of my code, takes my code repository, takes my example or my ask basically as a little issue, as your Git issues, right? Like, hey, here's a problem on also. Here's a feature I want to add, and it's gonna take that. It's gonna generate all the code. Now, this should be pretty simple and rather straightforward. It is an agentic workflow, so that means that instead of me just kind of actively working with it on this one, it's gonna go ahead and do that stuff, generate my code, go through a bunch of passes, and hopefully, it's gonna work. So let's give it a shot. But yeah, chat, how are you doing, chat? Are you doing fine? Is everything happening okay? It's always great seeing you folks out here. Again, in the world of YouTube land, I haven't been as active as I usually should have. So pretty cool to see you folks here. By the way, this thing is actually being live streamed also on dev.to. So if you go on dev.to, you'll probably see my big old face there on the screen. So shout outs to the folks from dev.to. If you are watching this on dev.to, click the tune into the full event thing in the below so you can come into the chat as well. So amazing. Okay, generating code. I need to open up the file so it actually understands which files it needs to look at. It actually even looked at the input file. I need to see the full contents of the Python file. Perfect, does all of those things. And now it goes through, like, reviews all of your files here and kind of like, tries to actually make some changes. Based on the code review, I need to modify the solution to find the 3 numbers that sum up to I'll update the find entry sum product function to use nested loops approach that looks up for triplets. summing up to 2020. An update to the function name documentation reflect the new functionality. I need to update the output message. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It goes to these things, and you can see it's changing only this file. Now, what's going to happen at the end is I'm going to get a diff. One or more diffs. In this case, it's going to be a one. A diff that is going to help me implement this feature into my thing here. Okay, so look at that. It says find entries on product. Boom, count equals 3. Okay, changes the description. Love it. Thank you. Changes the function. Says if count 2, original algorithm to finding 2 numbers, return for I in algorithm to finding 3 numbers. Okay, interesting. Complement. Okay, that looks good. For 2 numbers. Love that there's comments. For 2 numbers that sum up to target sum minus first. Okay. So just change this print statement. Okay. I want to see how this function works. So what happens here is that it okay, so we remove this. I wonder, do we actually need this function as well, if count equal 2, or is there some different approach? I assume there's a different approach to here because it has to use enumerate here. It has to use enumerate for it to be able to do multiple numbers, actually numbers more than 2. Okay, that's fine. For J in second, that's all good. That all looks fine. Let me just move this screen slightly so you can kind of see. Okay, I'm gonna accept all the changes. Perfect. No thanks. We're good, my friend. And then let's go ahead into our thing here and run the code again. So actually, you know what? Wait a second. I need to double check. So are we doing so is the default 3? Okay, the count is 3. Okay, sure. Okay, good. Clear. Let's do Python that. The product of the 3 entries that sum up to 2020 is this number. Let's see. 27 Okay. Submit. Fingers crossed. Hey! You're 1 gold star. Perfect. You completed day 1. Excellent. Let's go to day 2. Perfect. Day 2 is now a completely different challenge, right? It's the same lore and everything like that, but let's say your flight departs in a few days from the coastal airport. The easiest down to the coast is via toboggan. The shopkeeper at the North Pole toboggan rental shop is having a bad day. Something's wrong with your computers. We can't log in. You ask if you can take a look. Their password database seems to be a little corrupted. Some of the passwords wouldn't have been allowed in the official toboggan corporate policy. That was in effect when they were chosen. To try to debug the problem, they have created a list, your puzzle input, of passwords. According to the corrupted database, the corporate policy, when that password was set, for example, suppose you have the following list: 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, okay? Each line gives you the password policy and then the password. The password policy indicates the lowest and the highest number of times a given letter must appear in the following must appear in the password to be valid. For example, 1 to 3A means that the password must contain at least 1 time, at most 3 times, the letter A. In the above, 2 passwords are valid. The middle password CDFG is not, because it needs B 1 to 3 times. Okay. The third password are valid, but they contain 1 or 9 C characters. Okay, both within the limits of their password. How many passwords are valid according to their policies? Okay, so 2. Perfect. Let's start. I'll close this. Close this. Do a new file. Paste. Save. 02. Oh, not YAML. It's not going to be a YAML file, my friends. Save. It's going to be 02 input txt. Well, bam. Nice. Okay. So let's start a new thing. I'm going to create a new file here called touch02 task.py. And let's open it. That one, this one. Okay. So we have the task here. Well, we have nothing there. So let's figure this one out. How are we gonna phrase it? Phrase this thing again. You can't just copy paste this whole thing into the thing. It's just not gonna work. And it's gonna say, "Oh, sorry, I can't help you with that." So what we need to do is actually figure out passwords. Figure out how many valid passwords are there. Okay, so let's start phrasing the prompt. I am working on a coding challenge. I have a list of passwords that I need to verify if they are valid per policy. Now, I'm actually kind of concerned if Amazon Q is going to do this. Amazon Q is very careful of not kind of talking about security stuff because of the, security is a lot more nuanced than just this thing being able to kind of churn out. So, need to verify if they're valid per policy. I have a list of passwords of these passwords. We may have to change the word of password to something else. And their policy. Okay, here is an example. And then I'm going to drop this in thing here. Like, let's do that. Like that. Make it nice. This means that 123A, that the password on that line, on that line to be valid needs to have at least one A character and at most 3 A characters. Read the list of passwords. Read the list from a file called o2 input.txt. Let's see. Fingers crossed. It is willing. Okay. Nice. Okay. I was concerned that it wouldn't do it because, it really doesn't like doing stuff with passwords. So let's actually see what happened here. Okay. So I'm going to have a look into these things. Read the input file containing passwords and their policies, parse each line extract the policy and password, validate each password against the policy, count how many passwords are valid. Okay, so there's a function called def is valid password. There's a policy and password. Okay, we split the policy into parts. Policy range. Okay, so there's a whole thing we have to do a little bit of splitting here with, see, like there's text manipulation. It's not just like, we're not reading a database. This is literally text manipulation. So extract the character, removing the column. Okay, nice. Count occurrences of the password in the okay, and then count valid passwords. Try with open file name. Password if valid is valid password, valid count. Nice. Okay, I think this is gonna work. So I'm gonna copy, paste, and hope for the best. Sorry, don't ever copy paste and hope for the best. That's not how you code. You look at the code, understand the code. But this makes sense, right? Takes policy range and password policy.split. Now the split is gonna work. How is the split gonna work here? The split should work, I think, based off of something. So how does the split function work? So let's ask, how does the split function work? Because I legit am interested to see how does that work, because on what is it going to split it here, right? Separator off. Okay. It's not set of white space is used. Okay, so first it's going to split on the white space. So that means it's going to split here, right? Sure. Okay, good. And then it's going to take the first one and it's going to split that one. Okay, nice. Okay. And then policy. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I got it. Right. Okay, let's see, my friends. Let's see. Okay, so Python O2 task, O2 input. Actually, I don't even need to do it. It's gonna read the file automatically. Okay, so I don't even have to do this thing. So it's gonna read the file off of disk. Valid passwords, count valid passwords. Okay, so I don't even need to define this whole thing. So let's see. Do I get a runtime error, chat? Do I get a runtime error? No. Okay. Number of valid passwords 638. Okay. Let's see if that's correct. Bum, bum, bum. Hey, look at that. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful. We are done. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Again, very important. Do not just do copy, paste, and go. Ask it a question. What does the split do? What's the default thing on split? Of course, you could potentially look it up, yada, yada, yada. But hey, since you're doing stuff here, it's good. Now, it did actually throw you a couple of, see, like, how to split a string in Python. It actually links to like a Medium article or a Stack Overflow. In the above example, there's also like specific password stuff when it comes to Amazon things. So it potentially wants to enforce a little bit password policies, so that you understand a little bit more what a password policy is. So, okay, nice, good, we're good. Move on to part 2. There's a part 2 to the 222. Okay, while it appears that you validated the passwords correctly, they don't seem to be what the official toboggan corporate authentication system is expecting. Okay. Each policy actually describes 2 positions in the password, where 1 means the first character and 2 means the second character, and so on. Okay. Be careful, toboggan corporate... have no concept of index 0. Okay, there's no 0 indexing here. Exactly one of these positions must contain the given letter. So let's see. 1 is valid. Position 1 contains A, and position 3 does not. This is invalid. Neither position 1 or position contain B. Okay. Invalid. Both positions 1 and 9 contain C. Okay, so slightly different change here. So we have to change the verbiage of our application to do this. So basically, we can kind of use the same logic here, but we have to tell my rubber ducky here. We have to tell it that we are gonna have to change the validation. So what is it? What is it? Exactly one of these positions must contain. Okay. So that is the thing. Exactly one of these positions must contain a given letter. So let's jump right in and ask Amazon Q to change this whole thing. So I wonder, should I use the dev feature? You know what? No, I'm gonna go with chat. So I'm gonna go and ask the chat here. Okay. Thank you. Now I need to change the validation. How can I phrase this? I'm gonna go back to this example that I copied. Where is it? In this example, so make it nice for the LLM. The 1, 2, 3, A actually means that the A character needs to be at exactly one of these positions in the string, meaning that the first example is valid because A is on position 1, no 0 in the indexing here, and on position 3, what do we have on position 3 is C, which is not a not A. Sure. The other 2 passwords are invalid. Okay, let's see. Now, the reason I use this chat, because now, while I could have went through the whole dev feature, that wouldn't be a problem. The reason I went through the chat here is that, number 1, it's going to be a little slightly faster. And number 2, it already knows the context of the discussion. So I had a previous prompt. So within this whole chat interface, it actually understands what I'm trying to tell it here. So let's actually have a look at this code before I go ahead and commit. So I understand. The new policy means that the specified character must appear exactly on one of those 2 positions. Okay, nice. So is valid password. We're still doing the splits. Nice. Convert the 0-based indexing for Python. 0 indexing, yes. This is that little trick that you have to notice. We're not doing 0 indexing, so we start at 1. And it's using actually as XOR. Ooh. True if exactly one position is true. Look at that. So positioning is length password. Nice. Count valid password. I think this remains the same. Nice. So I'm gonna go copy everything. Well, delete everything and come here. Do the thing. Copy, paste, save. The key changes in valid password interprets the number of positions, one indexed, converts them to a 0 index for Python, checks if the character appears exactly one of the specified positions using the XOR operator. Nice. Okay, and it even gave me like a validation of things. So that means Amazon Q Developer understood the assignment, which is really good. By the way, chat, if you know what's the very popular language that is not 0 indexed? I love that language to bits, and I use it often, but it is not 0 indexed, which broke my heart. It broke my heart for absolutely no reason, just so you know. So, okay, let's close this. This looks fine. And here, once again, fingers crossed. Number of valid passwords is 699. Let's see. You have the right answer. Thank you, Rubber Ducky. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, return to your advent calendar. Let's start with the task number 3. Ooh, okay. We're getting into some matrices and all those things. I love that. I love that. Okay, close a bunch of stuff. Touch. Let's do touch 0203 task.py. And we have this file here that's empty, nothing there. And let's read the challenge. With the topog and login problems resolved, you set off towards the airport. While travel by toboggan might be easy, it is certainly not safe. There's very minimal steering, and the area is covered in trees. You'll need to see which angles you will take near the fewest trees. Due to the local geology, trees in this area only grow on exact integer coordinates in a grid. You make a map, your puzzle input, of the open squares, dots, and trees you can see, for example. And this is all kinds of like Dwarf Fortress for me right now. These aren't the only trees, though. Due to something you read about once involving arboreal genetics and biome stability, the same pattern repeats to the right many, many times. You start at the bottom square, dot, open square, top left corner. Yes. And you need to reach the bottom, below the bottommost row on your map. I assume this. So here, okay. The toboggan can only follow a few specific rules. You opted for a cheaper model that prefers rational numbers. Start by counting all the trees you would encounter for the slope. Right 3, down 1. Okay. From your starting position at the top left, check the position is right 3 and down 1. Then check the position that is right 3 and down 1 from there. So until you go past the bottom of the map. The locations you check in the above example are marked. Okay, right 3. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 1. Is that it? Yes. Okay. This. See. From your starting position, top left, check the position that is right 3, down 1. Then check the position that is right 3 and down 1 from there until you go past to the bottom of the map. The locations you check in the above example are marked with zeros where there's an open square and X where there was a 3. In this example, traversing the map using the slope would cause you to encounter 7 trees. Starting at the top left corner of your map and following a slope right and down, how many trees would you encounter? Okay, so this is going to be slightly challenging. The reason I'm saying that is that, well, first of all, it's kind of a weird input. So let's do save that. I love that it detected as a Ruby program. It's not Ruby, so I'm going to say 03 input input.txt. Okay, so let's start a new chat. Okay, so we need to format this somehow to the LLM, right? I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to use this as an example. Now, a great thing about the advent of code is that it actually gives you these kind of like examples, and you can use them to illustrate stuff. And that's the whole thing. When you talk to your rubber ducky, right? When you talk to Amazon Q developer, you need to basically explain it like that. You can't expect it to just kind of know everything. So spending a little time having it understand your problem is going to get you a long way. So let's do this. I have a coding challenge to solve. I need to find how many, and I don't even want to talk about toboggans and trees and whatnot. How many instances of the character I encounter in this two-dimensional matrix that features both dot and the character. I say because I have no idea what's the proper term for that. I know it's pound symbol, hash, whatever you want to call it. So the map is a repeating pattern like this. Is a repeating pattern to the right. I think that it should understand that. Paste it in. Okay. Oh, not that one. Oh, not that one. This one has X's and O's. Wait. Let's get the other one. Paste it in. The way I need to move to detect the characters is start at the top right dot character and move in the following manner: 3 steps right, 1 step down, and then check if there is a character. Take the map pattern from 03 from a file called 03 input.txt and count how many do we encounter. Let's see. This seems like a very complex task. So let's hope for the best. It is generating. I'll help you solve this coding challenge. You need to count how many. Okay. Count trees. It knows it's a tree. I'm sure the LLM behind this is aware of the challenge. So, I didn't mention trees, just so you know. So it's it was smart enough to figure this one out. Okay, def count trees, map data, write down 1. Okay, so it takes the height, and then the width is like, okay, nice. For row in range, okay. Height down. Check if the current position has a tree. If map, okay, trees plus 1. Move column right. And right is just okay, cool. Return trees. Okay, this seems like an incredibly simple solution. So let's try to debug this. Not debug this. Let's try to understand this. Height is the length of the data map, and width is the length of the data map 0. So just the thing. For row in range. Check if the current position has a tree. If map data, the trees will. Okay. I read from the map input that was a function constant trees. Okay, I want to say make the change so that there is enough of the pattern to the right. It repeats. So that we may we can get to the bottom. Just to make sure that it can actually do that, because what's going to happen here, there's not enough diagonal movement here, right, to reach the bottom. So Also, a solution to assume that we handle repeating pattern correctly. The existing model handles with the model. Oh, model. Okay. Trees, row, column. Okay. Oh, there's a okay. Sure. Let's give it a shot. So, copy this code. Close that. Paste. Save. Shall we give it a try, chat? Shall we do this? Let's do this. So, clear Python 03 task py. Number of trees encountered 220. I don't know. I wish there was a more visual way to show this, but maybe I can ask it to. Like, let's try. I want to try this to see if this is the correct number, and paste it in. Oh my God, that is right. Okay. We have a couple more minutes left. I actually want to go ahead and change this. Thank you. Q, that worked. Can you also print out the matrix to the screen and mark the dot characters we encounter with O and the with an X, just so we see the whole path. Okay. Count trees, returns the number of trees encounter. Okay, if visualize. Oh my God, a bunch of nested functions here. Nested if else. Oh. Okay. Okay, so check this out. It says, well, it provided this and says like, oh, you know what? Let's simplify it. Here's a cleaner solution, and now it's generating something else. Is this a cleaner solution? I don't really know. Let's have a look. Keeps track of all positions. Okay. Difference how many times we need to repeat the pattern horizontally to show the entire path. Creates an extended map by repeating each row necessary. There you go. Thank you. So, it's a function, the same function still, visualize equal false. We still do the whole thing here. Now, if visualize, visual map is empty. For line in map data, visual map append last line. So it actually adds those things. Path position, while row, okay, check for the current position. If there's a tree, tree plus one. If visualize, path position append X. If there is no, tree, right? If there's no hash map, put a 0. So, and then the print the visualization. So determine how many columns to display, max column needed for position and path positions, repeat. This is why Python is so good for math and so good for like data wrangling, data analysis. So it's so much obvious what's happening here, right? For R in range height, create an extended row by repeating the pattern, extended row, but repeats needed, sure. How does it know the repeats needed? How does it? Oh, max column. Okay, yes. Max column needed plus y. How does math column? Okay, max position. Okay, sure. Plus 5, because it knows that there is, or it just adds 5, just a random number, I guess. Print join. Okay. I mean, hey, you know what? I don't shy away from this now. So copy, paste, save. Let's give it a shot. Fingers crossed, my friends. Hey, that didn't work out nice. I don't like that. Well, it did kind of start okay. Okay. And then it hit this one. So the problem here is it doesn't repeat itself like horizontally, right? So like, yeah, it's not a great visualization here. Like, what needs to happen here, it needs this basically, this needs to start repeating itself. So, yeah, it's not that fantastic, but sure. Okay. Anyway, we solved this. One last thing, because we're about to end the show. I want to go ahead here and kind of summarize a bunch of stuff here, right? So I'm gonna close that. Here are all of our files. We have a bunch of inputs. We have a bunch of tasks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually open up Amazon Q, do this, new tab, and I say at workspace. So telling it, hey, listen, take all of the files that we've worked here and do something with them. So this repository or this project contains 3 coding challenges that I've went through today with you, my wonderful coding assistant. And what I want you to do is create a markdown file with the key learning moments from each of these challenges. Highlight key practices in each, and some more resources slash topics I should visit related to them. Let's see. Oh crap. Open settings, index. There you go. Boom. Okay. 1 second. I didn't enable the indexing. The indexing thing is basically just telling Amazon Q Developer to go ahead and index all the files. So it's done it. Okay, nice. So I'm gonna do this again. Copy, close the settings, do another one. By default, when you install at workspace. Okay. Nice. See? Look at that. We got a bunch of markdown. All right. Coding challenge learning moments. Challenge 1, finding entries to target sum 0, 1 text pi. Algorithm optimization, using hash set scene to efficiently find complements in a single pass, achieving O and time complexity. Nice. Function flexibility, parameterizing, sure, fine. Error handling, of course. Command line arguments, there we go. We learned some command line arguments. Best practices demonstrated. Docstrings, sure. I think we use docstrings in everywhere. Graceful error handling, sure. Related topics to explore. Okay. Challenge number 2, password validation, input parsing, extracting structured data. Yes, we looked at the whole thing where like it actually split a bunch of the data, even though the data is kind of a weird format. Validation logic, rule-based validation for passwords, absolutely. File processing, processing data from line by line. Separation of concern between file handling and business logic, absolutely. We had a bunch of different functions here. Specifying error handling, sure. Clear output to formatting for the best results, nice. Regular expressions, sure. If you want to do more complex pattern matching, right? Context managers, the with statement. Yeah, I actually have never gone too deep into the Python with statements, so sure. And then tree counting. I know it with the tree counting. 2D grid navigation, traversing a 2D grid with specific patterns. Pattern recognition, handling repeating patterns with modulo operations. Modulo operations are like one of those things which you learn in programming that is important. It is critical, especially if you're going to do something with 2D grids or something like that. Like if you are in like software development and you want to do kind of like things related to maps or repeating patterns or like video games, right? Module operators are kind of very important. Visualizations, right? Again, not the best one, but sure. Optional visualization parameter, sure. We had like a thing. Clean separation between data reading and processing and output, yeah. Efficient handling of repeating patterns, yeah. Graph traversal algorithm, BFS, DFS. Okay, good to know. 2D array manipulation techniques, modular arithmetics. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this into a markdown. Now, I wonder, so this is a thing I haven't tested out. Copy this and do a new file here. Say, I'm going to just paste it in. See, it's not really markdown. Like it didn't save it as markdown. Learnings MD. So like, see, it's sure, like that's fine. And then like, I should have potentially done something like, it didn't really generate the things for what I wanted to do, right? But okay, fine. Well, friends, that was Amazon Q Developer. That was me and my rubber ducky and this old rubber ducky here. We've had a look at the Advent of Coding Challenge. We went through 3 of the tasks in like 45 minutes, which is pretty impressive. Now, you shouldn't just use, Q Developer to just solve challenges like this. You should use Amazon Q Developer to help you build stuff faster, as you've seen me do today, but also help you learn how to do stuff. So explore these tools. Make Amazon Q Developer your rubber ducky of choice. It is free. You can go install it into your favorite text editor. Check out the link in the description. You will find the link to the landing page and how you can install it. Again, it's free. You literally need a builder ID. That's a simple registration, and off you go. From helping you code, to helping you implement features, to writing documentation, to transforming code, to doing all kinds of test generation shenanigans. Thank you so much, folks, for joining. I have to go. It's been fun. Hope to see you here again soon. If you like what you see on this channel, somewhere around my face here, there's a little, I think somewhere here, there's a little subscribe button. And if you like this content, there's also the like button as well. If you didn't, that's okay. But do drop it in the comments. Have you used Amazon Q Developer before? Have you used the coding assistant before? What is your coding rubber ducky? I'd love to know. Okay, that's enough yapping. I'll see you all, friends, real soon. I don't even have a goodbye screen. I just have to stop the stream.